Hi, everyone. I'm Steve of Ekstract. I'm CEO of Global Licensing Advisors. We're an advisory for the global licensing industry. And Robin has graciously asked me to, she's made me the licensing historian. So I'll kind of give you guys a quick overview of the history of licensing, modern licensing, and hopefully give you a better understanding of what it is that we're talking about here. Licensing, the best way to describe it is it's essentially leasing your intellectual property. If you own intellectual property, leasing it to someone to use for a product or service. And the simplest way to describe it really is to say, well, back in 1930, Walt Disney created this character called Mickey Mouse. And the Hamilton Watch Company approached Walt Disney and said, we want to put that mouse on a watch. And Disney was like, okay. And they worked out an agreement to create Mickey Mouse watches that really kind of was a precursor to what we see today, which is characters in just about every area you can imagine. So licensing really took off in the 20th century and pretty much really post 1950, after the advent of television. Licensing is really tied in with advertising. It's a form of marketing. It's a marketing tool for companies to use to lease other companies' brands, to use to sell product. Now, of course, what we're discussing in this particular webinar is the digital world. So what we're seeing now is the transition from just physical products, licensing for physical products, into the digital world. So licensing has really become a core business for many brands. And when you think about the industries where it's been very successful, certainly in the kids business, characters, the fashions, most fashion companies don't want you to know how much licensing they're doing. But there's a significant amount of licensing that's going on in the fashion business, in the luxury goods business. So, for example, most luxury brands don't manufacture their own eyewear. They don't manufacture their own fragrances or cosmetics. Those are all licensed. But the general consumer really doesn't know that. And quite frankly, the brands really don't want them to know that because it's kind of in mirrors to a certain degree. And one thing we're going to be discussing in this webinar is the whole digital licensing business. So NFTs, the multiverse, and how companies are sort of transitioning their IP into this world.